La, la, la. Hey, yeah, yeah.
Well, who doesn't believe that a wine a day will keep the doctor away? I believe it. Robert Statham believes it from The Drunken Grape. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me back, Julie and Julie. This is
Yeah.
awesome.
No,
it is
I love
fun.
it.
So, health and wine, what is the connection?
Well, wine was used in antiquity for medicinal purposes. It was used for a variety of ailments, usually to treat stomach disorders or as a painkiller. And it really started as our first known form of man-made medicine, dating back to 2200 BC.
Right.
Ancient Egypt, Sumerian tablets document it. Very cool.
So what was the difference between, and I know this might be a hard one to answer, what would be the difference between wine back then? Was it higher in resveratrol and anthocyanins, which are the active components, the health-giving components of wine, than it is today? Or
you know what, it would all be the same. It depends on climate. You know, in the wetter, cooler climates like Burgundy, which would have then been Gaul, they would have had wines that would have been similar to your Burgundians or Pinot Noir today, which are at the highest levels of resveratrol or the proanthocyanins found in wine, in particular red wine.
Okay, you two should probably slow down the percent. I'm like wine and chocolate. I'm pretty sure I'm back in.
They pair well. They pair very well.
It's also in wine grapes.
Okay.
The resveratrol and you know that's the thing that they've convinced us that a glass of wine a day will keep the doctor away. It's
I've
not
heard
true
that
for
as
women,
well.
by the way.
No, and I have heard that too.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a difference between the wine a day with a red wine and with a white wine?
Yes, in fact, the benefits really sit much more in red wine. It comes in the skins and the pulps and the pips of the wine. It's all the maceration when they ferment wine, of which white wine is largely devoid of. Because if you make white wine from black grapes, they remove the skins.
Yes.
And that's where a lot of these healthy elements are found.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So the white wine, I'm sorry, it may not make your tongue purple, but it's not going to do you any good either.
It's not going to do you any favors.
Maybe as a painkiller.
Could be. Well, that was the thing. I mean, if we go back in ancient Rome, there was a big researcher and physician and philosopher named Galen. Claudius Galen. He was actually, I think he lived between like 129 and 216 AD. He lived a very long time, especially for their standards.
Right.
And what he discovered was in his earlier states, he ended up becoming the physician for like 4 or 5 different emperors. But what he discovered was he was born in Turkey, so in Asia Minor, he set up his practice and he was treating gladiators. And what had happened was, over the 4-year span of treating gladiators, where he used wine to disinfect wounds, in fact, if somebody was disemboweled, he would treat the bowels with wine and re-enter it back into the body.
Oh my
And
gosh.
he had 5 deaths in total. Think of gladiators hacking at each other every day in an arena.
Right.
The previous physician, 60 people died underneath him. And the large difference was using wine as an antiseptic.
Right.
Oh
well,
my
of course it
gosh.
makes sense
Yeah.
because, you know, if you've ever seen MacGyver or anything like that, pour a little whiskey on that thing and, you know,
There's
you're
a lot
good.
of yelling. That's
Band-Aid
what I love.
problem,
There's
but-
a lot of yelling.
That's right.
Okay,
That's so true.
speaking of wine and health and fitness, you have paired up with the Ottawa Food Bank. And
Yes.
you have an event that's coming up
I do.
that we can actually enjoy wine and
Yeah,
fitness.
absolutely.
So please tell us about that.
So this is coming up on March 20th. It's at 450 Rideau. Cost to be $35 per person, so it's very reasonable for an hour and a half session. Starts out noon to 1:30. Starts out in the first half hour with Erin Nelson, who's been on this program, famed local trainer from 30 and 30 Fitness. So she gets everybody moving through her fitness program. And then we turn to a wine tasting and networking session.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which will be a lot of
So
fun. So it's the
fitness
first of the
first.
series
Yes.
we're launching. Yes.
Wine second, because I did once have a glass of wine with lunch or something, and then I thought in the afternoon I'll go for a run. Worst run of my life.
No.
Do it the other way around.
But I do like that. I feel like a lot of people do love the fitness, and it's always a nice reward to have a nice wine,
is,
which I see that you have brought us
I do.
a nice wine here.
I do. This is a Oregon Pinot Noir. This is one of the classic examples of wines very rich in resveratrol. And in fact, it was a 60 minutes program that aired in November 1991 that started to change the mood towards alcohol. Because for the previous 100 years, starting with the temperance movement, prohibition, and all these articles lambasting alcohol on health effects, it was the overindulgence. They realized, well, in moderation, it's really healthy. And it was a scientist named Serge Renaud that came up with it in Bordeaux.
Thank you,
and he
Serge.
looked at the French paradox. high fat, high dairy diet compared
of
to the
course.
American and English counterparts. But why were they not dying of heart disease? And a lot of it had to do with the red wine. And they discovered Oregon, New York, Burgundy, it's in wet cooler regions where the Pinot Noir is very tightly bunched. It's pine cone in French, basically.
Right. Okay.
And it's subject to rot. And for some reason, these thin-skinned grapes that are subject to rot also are really, really high in all these antioxidants.
That's awesome
Oh, that
because
is
Pinot
nice to know.
Noir is my favorite.
Okay, I love it too.
So
I
tell
do.
us what we're experiencing here.
Well, this is 2012. It's light. You're getting a lot of
Love the
cherry,
color.
light berry flavors, a lot of earthiness to this. Oregon, they use a lot of French oak, and in that you're going to get more of earthy tones. It almost smells like you're into like a forest. You know,
Yeah, it
wet
does.
leaves
It
and
does.
forest floor.
Yeah, it does. A boozy forest, but yeah.
So, you know what? I always feel like we run out of time because you are a wealth of knowledge. So, you have the Drunken Grape, you're a wine consultant. How can people reach you? And what can they
Well, you can
expect
reach me
you
by
when they
email.
do
I have my
reach-
Facebook page. The website I'm building, I mean, this has just come up in the last 4 months. I put this company together.
That's right. Yeah,
And,
it's
you
doing
know,
so
it's-
well.
It
Put the
is.
logo, you have to do the logo, the trademarking, you
Yep.
understand the process. Before you get up the site, you need to protect all these things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're at. And yeah, no, things are coming along very nicely.
Oh, good,
Awesome,
good, good.
awesome. And for your event, you're going to have other sommeliers, or is it going to be you conducting the wine
This one I'll be
tasting?
conducting the wine
Yep.
tasting myself, and I think it'll be fun. It's a great launch, especially March 20th. You know, you think fitness, you think wine, you think
Yep.
health. The first day of spring.
First day of
Yes.
spring. Yep.
The spring equinox is rolling upon
Yep.
us.
Yep. That's
Great
right.
way to kick the summer, the winter blues.
Yeah,
Think about it.
definitely.
Absolutely. And my son's birthday, so you know, there's another reason.
You
to
can bring them
celebrate.
along. It's open
Yeah.
to men and women.
Open to men and women.
anybody. Oh,
Yeah.
good, good.
Yeah, now the space is limited. We can fit about 40 people in the room. So we suspect we're going to fill up pretty
Yeah.
quickly.
Absolutely, yeah. And so you're going to see a range of wines. Are we going to focus on just the health-giving
We're
ones?
going to focus on the health-giving wines. I'll have a white option as well, just because not
Okay.
everybody wants to drink red wine. Not everybody can.
Right.
You know, so that's about
I
it.
don't believe in those people.
You know what'll be nice is you can show people the different types.
True.
And then they can
That's
have that
true.
choice.
True.
And I think people, when they are educated a little bit more, can do it. for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good, good,
I
good.
think so. And making the right choices, right? And also, like, I always follow your recommendations. I'm like, gosh, that was really good. And on the way
Cool.
home, yep, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks so much for
Hey,
coming.
thank
so
you.
much. We'll
That's
hopefully
awesome.
see you on the
Yeah,
20th.
hey, Julie,
And
you're
Julie,
great.
Julie
and
Awesome.
Julie, that's
Okay,
right.
I'm used to this already.
Yes.
It's a
Well, up
beautiful
next,
ring
we're
to
going to be talking fur. It is still winter, and we will be talking fur and wedding fashions a little bit, and also how to remake Grandma's old stoles with Stuart Chadnick from Pat Flesher Fur right after this.